Ok, c'est parti. What's up, guys? I'm Jean-William Prévost. I run Iggy Flat BMX, IGI BMX. Iggy, I got it. You know what it is. Today is a nice day. I'm here with my guests. Outside is a beautiful day. We're about to ride and have a jam. So we're here to cover Steve and JF's pandemic tour. You guys have seen it. They've been traveling around the US during the whole pandemic tour. They've been healthy, right?
Yeah.
You've been doing good.
All good.
Yeah.
All good.
Nothing like too crazy happened or like...
No, it's all good. Like all the riders in the States can vouch for our Canadian cleanliness.
Yeah, like Purell shower before
It's all good.
riding and everything.
Purell bike, Purell shower, Purell mouthwash. It's
How
all
long were you guys gone for? Like 6 months?
5 months.
5 months, man? Wow, that's a long time, man. Though that's the best kind of trip because you're on the van and you're just going and really you don't know what's gonna happen, right? Sometimes you're just going with the flow, I guess.
Exactly.
Riding.
Jam, just get improvised and be like, okay, what are you doing next week? Anyone riding on Thursday? And,
Yeah,
and
man.
that's it. Everyone was super welcoming. We had great time with everyone, and it feels good because we were like there. Most of the time we meet someone, we're the first guests for a while, so it's like, hey, come over.
Yeah, because that was like right in the middle when everything was going crazy, basically. So yeah, even before I get to that, I was wondering like, how many states did you guys visit? Like,
A lot.
did you know? Did you even count, or it doesn't even matter?
I think the sketch was 25, and I think we ended up doing 22.
Which was mostly like on the western part of the U.S., right? Because you guys didn't really touch the East Coast except like Florida, from what I saw on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main goal was to escape from the cold weather. So once we hit Colorado and Utah, Steve was freezing his ass out there.
Often. It's so
In
cold.
Colorado?
And Utah too.
Oh yeah, Utah,
really
man. I wonder
cold.
how Utah. Wasn't that like Utah is like that's got Monument Valley? That's where it is, right? That's Utah or that's
No,
Nevada?
it's after the Colorado.
Oh, okay. And maybe
It's
my
between,
geography.
California
amazing.
and Colorado.
We
In the
rent mountain bike and like double suspension thing. We did a 4-hour crazy.
And for your shape, you know if you do that, you are in shape or not. Because it's 4 hours.
Not easy,
so,
right?
No.
And we're always
It's
on our
not like
bikes.
riding
No,
flatland.
right?
It's
Yeah.
more hard.
And it actually is enjoyable to like spend time on a different bike, right? Like, cause we're always on a flatland bike, which is kind of small, hard seat, and then actually spending time on a bigger bike is enjoyable. Like, I'm discovering that as well.
No, it is, and props to the amazing flatland skill. You know how aware you have to be when you're riding your flatland bike. You can't just be like bloop, 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 butterfly, you know, like flatland, man. You gotta be there. And when you're riding a double suspension bike in Moab, you gotta be there, man. 'cause,
Yeah, you gotta pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So, like, with the borders closing and everything shutting down and stores closing, people having to stay at home and locking down, you guys thought this is the best time to get on the road, right? Yeah, this is the best time to hit the road, right?
the best
It is, man. Yo, props to that idea, but like, how did it start? Like, I think the border was closed, or you're not allowed to use your own car to cross the border. So, what was the process to actually get into the U.S. from Montreal?
Easy. You take the plane and you ship the van in the US and that's it. And you pay 100,
1,000.
1,000 each.
You ship the van? What does that mean?
Yeah, you ship the van. It's
Like
a driver license. You can.
So we decided in March we were going to do this trip because Steve was able to get a leave of absence from work. And then they start closing stuff, and then like the sanitary crisis start to happen. And then we're seeing like people still getting over the border. So
From like other people in Quebec, for example?
Yeah, exactly.
Going to Florida.
Snowbirds,
Oh,
stuff
yeah, yeah,
like that. So I'm seeing that because I was in some group to see what these people are doing.
Like how to circumvent the craziness, like.
Exactly. So they're paying a driver that have a transport license that is driving your truck over the border. And these guys, they were also offering the flight option. So,
It's like a package deal.
bro,
Like the truck company's like, hey, there's no
VIP.
business, we have to figure it out.
VIP.
Oh, that's
we
sick.
get to that little airport. We're 6 in the plane. Shoo, we fly for 45 minutes. We land. We go to the custom officer. We had letter printed from different riders that were allowing us to stay at their place just
Like
to make
just
sure.
in case, yeah.
They didn't even ask for this paper. So after we did the 5-minute thing with the border officer, we get in the plane again. The plane drive to the tarmac, and there you see the van, just right there.
And it's crazy thinking that like there's heavy measures when you're taking like flights. For example, coming back to Canada is a $2,000 COVID hotel fine when you come back home, and when you drive back, it's just like you go home and quarantine. It's okay.
It's weird.
So what was that first stop? What was the first stop? Is like
The first riding stop? Or
no, like the first stop. Like where did you land to start, and where did you consider the last stop before you drove back home?
Cool. First stop.
Yeah, what was it?
First stop in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and we find a spot to sleep in the mountain because we want to go there
You landed in Pennsylvania?
in Pennsylvania, and we find a spot with the application iOverland, and we find the spot super nice, and we do a fire and we sleep, and it's cold.
Because winter is coming, right?
Yeah, it's in November. It's cold,
Uh-huh.
but it's super nice night for the first night because I like when it's cold, a little bit cold, not too much.
Well, Quebec. In Quebec, we like the cold. That's
but you sleep outside in the
No,
Quebec.
no,
the
hell
winter.
no, man.
It's so cold.
What city did you land in?
So we landed in New York, and there was a kind of quarantine. So we had 24 hours to get out of the States. We got out of the States. We opened the app. We're like, let's go sleep in nature because we wanted to make the trip biking, riding flatland, which obviously happens in the city, mixed with nature. First night, we're like, let's go to
that's
nature.
the hard part. We also had a hard time finding spots when we were driving through South America where it's like, fuck, it's so fun to be on the road and out in the middle of nowhere, but that's where there's no spot. And it's like, I always think of it like flatland is a derivative of like the urban culture. Like basically like the concrete jungle, which is the worst thing for nature, is what makes flatland thrive, and the opposite is what we enjoy the most as well. And it's like finding a middle ground between both is not always easy on a road trip like that, especially if you need a really nice floor. Some people don't. And I think that's a great segue actually to go into like what was like the nicest spot that you went to during the trip.
Okay.
Like outdoor spot, you know,
Okay.
like something like urban, something in the city. What was the best one?
Well, you pull out the Teriadan spot. It's inside.
Yeah, that's like a personal spot.
Okay, outside is for me maybe 2 spots. The marina to Long Beach.
It's California?
Yeah, California. And the other spot, it's Arizona. The
secret spot.
it's not Phoenix, but close.
Country town. Let's go, Steve.
Yeah,
You got it.
country
You
town.
remember.
Where is
Scottsdale.
That's
Yeah.
Scottsdale has a nice
Scottsdale
spot, like
is
a
a
granite
nice
spot, granite or concrete. Or?
Yeah, concrete, and it's perfect. But you go there with a lot of people because it's not a spot for riding. I think it's just for everybody check the museum like that, and you.
Oh, so
But
it's
we are
it's got
lucky.
like nice infrastructure for riding actually because it's like tourist.
Yeah, it's more for tourists.
It's just a little pad out there in the middle of an alley to go to a park, and I think because of the current situation, the museum was not open, so there was not a lot of people in that thing. Probably on the week, it's still doable depending on the tourist season, but I could see this spot get crowded and unrideable, but we were lucky enough to have it.
And the spot is
Yeah, because actually I didn't want to talk about the spots to start off, but like I was gonna go like, what is the most striking aspect of traveling during COVID, because there's gonna be fucking nobody anywhere, right? So that's probably the best thing for experiencing spots that would have like 1,000 people usually, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
like San Diego.
traffic. So traffic like low down. Then like natural park. You get the park
Empty.
for yourself. You get the forest for yourself.
The crazy part is it's still open.
All the time. Yeah.
And just no one going, like in fear of getting sick, right?
Yeah, or please stay home.
Yeah.
And I do a blender with the lion to San Diego and the zoo. And we can do it with the COVID, but without COVID it's impossible. It's full people.
Oh yeah, and another photo that I saw was Las Vegas. How was Las Vegas with no one, right?
You know, during the day, it was empty, but at night,
nice.
Still partying?
People were walking on the streets, store were open, casino were not open. Probably not the Vegas you see in the movies or you have in your mind, but still like...
Yeah, I think the day, when I went in the day, it was kind of dead anyways. It's like, it's too hot. It's right in the middle of the desert, right? I went for the Nora Cup once there. It was pretty cool, but really hot in the day. Yeah. Must have been nice, man, to just be alone and like be able to sometimes just, like, you're looking around and you're like, this is like Ghost Town. It's like a movie, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like post-apocalyptic movies.
Yeah.
And I see...
Like Legend,
yeah. I Am Legend.
I Am Legend with Will Smith.
The Book of Eli. And like it entertains me to think that maybe one day this shit will happen.
Yeah.
And to see those kind of image made in your mind because there's no people at this spot, it's awesome.
It's kind of like, I would like to say like we're inching towards that, but like it felt like a giant leap towards that actually, you know, when you see no one in the streets like that. Even here it was the same. But you guys actually like, you still didn't go through the worst of it, because here, for example, it was ridiculous. Things were closed, restaurants still haven't opened yet entirely if you don't have a terrace. And like curfew just fell, and that was 5 months of curfew, which is insane. But
when I was talking with people, store closed, people like kind of understand, mask, people understand, curfew, people understand. When I tell people that here in Quebec, you were not allowed to go see your family member, then most of the people in the state, they were like, okay,
that's the next level, right?
That's next level. That's overboard, and it is to me, and it is to my
and
soul.
even now, still to this point, there's a place where I guess you call it, people put old people there. I don't know if that's the best way to define it or describe it, but they're called CHSLD in Quebec, and they kind of, I guess, put old people there, and it's still very hard, I think, for family members to go see their grandma or their grandpa, or they'll see them behind like a window. Yes, it's insanity. I don't want to like give my opinion about all that, but like it's kind of insanity to me. But anyways, back to riding, right? So like having in a nutshell vision of the past 5 months in the USA of the flatland scene, I think no one else has a better idea of what is the current state of the US flatland scene, and what would you say is the strongest scenes out in the US right now? Like, I have a slight idea, but you might be able to give me a better idea of like what is
the scene?
Like the strongest scenes, like flatland scenes in the US.
But me, I think it's a really nice place for every country. You have a big scene and nice guy ride everywhere, but sometimes it's just one guy like St. Louis, like
Austin and St.
like
Louis.
us.
So
And
he's the
he
St.
is
Louis
alone.
scene, but there's other riders in St. Louis.
Yeah, maybe, but not a lot. But sometimes to California, it's sure you have a lot of people and nice scene, and everybody is so nice, man. For like GF said early, with you put something on the Instagram and let's go, we do a jam and we
That's
can do
kind of
it a big jam with everybody. It's so nice.
That's the magic of like social media. Aside from getting our data and everything taken from us, right?
And I'm surprised from Texas. Texas is nice scene, man. It's crazy place for Flatland.
Texas, right?
Yeah.
What, Austin or
like you were talking about the scene, and what I did see in the US is a lot of love for Flatland.
Yeah.
Even if it's one guy in his corner, 3 guys, 5 guys, the bond is still very strong between the sport and the people. But if you talk about like scene and what we experienced during that trip might be different from another trip, but shout out to
because of what's going on, people don't want to gather.
Or because of moments, you know, sometimes things happen, they will not happen in a trip, people have to work.
They're not able to be there today.
Stuff like that, but shout out to Texas.
Yeah, Texas, right?
Shout out to Bobby Burge.
Yeah, Bobby, man.
Big jam at his house, lots
Bobby
of
and
fun.
Rodney, right? Bobby and Rodney riding together.
Fun, man.
Southern hospitality to the best.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, so the East Coast you guys didn't go to. In California, I think also is probably the biggest scene, but it's like separated all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And they all have their own spots.
It's spread out, and that's it. But like every time we rode with people, it was awesome.
Yeah, always awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
The spot you said was the best one is the marina. No, what's the flat white spot? Flat obviously, but white spot by a marina also. Not the asphalt
That's
one.
the Redondo Pier.
Yeah, Redondo Beach, right?
Yeah.
So how's that one?
That's a good spot too. It's really, the view is amazing. You know, you just
hang out there and wait your turn, and you're like, oh, maybe right.
You see like people paddleboarding, bars there, people rollerblading, biking. The surface is good. It's a place where California, everyone's smiling in California. They have like this blue sky every day, not a fucking
and no
cloud.
humidity, like super hot.
It's crazy that weather almost goes all the way down to Chile. Basically, it's really hot around the tropics, but Chile is for me was very similar to the weather in Santiago. You got similar weather, just the sun was a lot stronger. But yeah, it's like that side of the mountain, they don't get all the nasty stuff from our side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, but who rides that spot? Is it Icy Rich always? I think Bo rides there too, right?
Bo right there.
Rich is there more often recently.
Some other guys, twin that we didn't have the chance to meet. But
there's people passing through it and stuff. It's like
no, not that much people walking through it.
I'd love to check that spot out for sure. It looks like a nice place to ride.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, super cool.
But yeah, I was also asking you guys, like, since talking about the scenes, like, what do you think, or who was the youngest rider that you saw in the US during the trip?
Oh.
Because I know things are like, we're slowly kind of growing, everyone is kind of growing older within the flatland scene in North America, right? And I'm like, yo, who's the youngest one? Is there still kids getting into it, man?
Good question.
Then maybe there isn't any young riders, so there's nothing that stands out. But I thought it's important to like strike that point because...
Oh, not a lot.
Because like, give it 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I mean, we'll be old, man, and it won't be the same to ride anymore, and who will be left to actually be handed the torch to, you know? Was it Austin? Because Austin's like 28, I think, right?
Yeah.
29.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more about like newcomers, a couple of kids in the scene.
Kids,
that you remember of?
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say like no, and and
No, but who would have been the youngest one that you saw? Like Omari? Omari's what, like 26, 27?
Omari was probably...
Maybe.
That's actually riding, you know, like not just, well, I mean, just having a bike is one thing, but
Yeah, but
if you don't ride, you don't ride. You know?
If I see a 12-year-old kid that's doing basic trick and I go to a jam and he's riding 3, 4, 5 hour, I would have
said that, right?
Have said that,
but you didn't see that.
but it didn't happen. So that could be something
That's a bit of a shame.
these guys could work on, especially especially with the AFA circuit putting a stable event out there.
I wonder when the next one is actually, but yeah, it's true that that I wanted to bring this up because it's important. We need to realize how much work we have to do right now if we want Flatland to survive in North America. And it's like it's actually really serious because okay, we can do shows. That's one thing, right? Shows will work and we can keep making money. For example, doing shows.
Yeah.
But like, how about like contests?
But
If there's no riders, it's really hard to run a contest. Maybe the old school class is gonna keep growing,
Yeah.
full of baby boomers now, and
But
no, baby
shows,
boomers is older.
like people will say whatever they want, they like to entertain and do show, but I do shows and yeah, it's fun to entertain, but show is still a selfish way. I make my money, I get my paycheck, you know.
Well, I wasn't saying that to say that. What I meant was, like, we can do shows. That's always going to work out, right? And we can organize contests, but at some point there won't be a beginner class. And already now it's kind of starting where there's no one to fill the class, so we don't even do a beginner class anymore. So next thing will be expert class will be kind of gone, or like, and then it'll be pro and old school.
In my opinion,
We're facing a real problem.
people that have show company, they have the responsibility to put out the class thing, you know?
Initiation.
Yeah, like either when I go do shows, sometimes I suggest the person, I'm gonna do a performance, but I'm gonna bring out 5 bikes with helmet and kid will be able to try it.
Yeah.
Or just having on the web page, private class, call us here.
Yeah.
And then you see one kid there
Have the option
riding.
at least.
There's another rider there, you call it, okay, you wanna give 10 class to this guy. It needs to be out there, and when people Google BMX class, like things need to be out.
To be clear,
Yeah.
what they have access to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see it as kids need structure in the beginning, and it's not like us because when we started riding Flatland, it was like I want to get out of the structure, and now it's like if kids want to get into Flatland, they need someone to like almost not to force them, but like they have to practice, you know, and. It's like I think the generation is used to easier, self-gratifying, likes, comments, more online video game playing kind of life now, right?
We were also 5 young boys with a lot of testosterone, so
our generation was sick. We were 5. We had you, Simon, Mike, me, and Jason. And like I can only be thankful for that generation.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve was an older generation with Clark and Ben, Benoit Dubois, Frank Cote.
Yeah, Frank Cote.
I think a lot of people know our riders from different generations out in the US, and yeah, I wish we went out there more, and hopefully when we can start doing events, we'll do it too.
Just passion.
Without cell phones.
Yeah.
But any website that is offering show, BMX Flatland part, anything that has to do with Flatland needs to have a BMX class option where they can like either refer someone like, oh, this kid in
But it's also the kind of show, right? Because like I guess there's these guys that are more like an elitist kind of, I will only do this kind of show, you know, like maybe on stage or maybe not circus, but like club shows, or I'm trying to get away from doing shows. I like except doing the kind of shows where it's like you're having contact with kids and you're showing them tricks, and it's not like just spotlight on me and look at me, and like I'm not that fond of just doing that. It's true that what you say is important, that like here's a show, but like give it a try, right? Like at the same time. And I think that yeah, we do have this responsibility as like organizers to like, and as riders to keep the sport alive, to like try to get other kids involved. And like not to mention again Omari, what he's doing right now, it's in a school in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And he's provided bikes to kids, and he's giving them bike mechanic classes, and he's exposing them to probably different videos and such, and keeping them in the loop. Because a lot of times, if the kid doesn't have like feedback later on, he's just gonna move on to the other thing, you know, that's gonna have someone else to talk about it with. And I think the main problem behind Flatland kind of dying out in the younger generations is the lack of community. And we're like definitely lacking, because we are an isolated kind of person as well. We spend time in the parking lot and practicing hard, so we forget that part sometimes. But anyway, so what is like the median age, do you think, in riders in the US? What is la moyenne, genre?
Yeah.
30, 35.
35,
Yeah.
right?
But often many people ride 50 years old and super good rider, man.
Yeah, right? It's true, that's true, man.
Yeah,
That's
I like
crazy.
it, man.
Props.
Super shape.
Props to that. Like, you wanna, that's one thing I got out of this trip is like, oh my God, I can still like perform pretty well until 50, because you've seen guys out there, they're going on their bike, they're motivated, motivated as a young kid.
And pushing
like,
hard tricks, super hard tricks.
And do you see them taking care of their body, like stretching
Yeah.
and training and eating well and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that? too?
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's important, to take that time and take care of
Don't
yourself. Right?
stop, guys.
But yeah, we definitely have some work to do about that. So, but like since like there isn't that many spots in the U.S. from what I've witnessed, like everybody has their own home spot, right? Like how many home spots did you visit? Like 10, 12, 15, 20? How many is there, man? There's so
Whoa.
many.
Not a lot, but Andy Cooper,
okay, 1.
Approximately, right?
Todd, 2.
Todd Carter,
James,
nice
James,
guy.
3.
James 3.
Then
Before
California,
Terry.
we didn't do.
There's
Then,
Bobby Burge.
Then Bobby Birch,
Bobby Birch.
Texas. Then Terry.
Ah,
And then
and-
Tyler.
Mickey.
And Mickey
And Mickey,
Gale.
yeah, Terry,
Oh,
Mickey,
yes,
they both got their
seven,
spots.
Yeah, now
Nice.
There's a lot, man.
A
Like
lot,
what, 10?
man.
now there's this guy Mike in Florida just laying a pad. I think it's not that there is no spot. I think the spot are maybe like far from home, and rider want to make sure they have a decent spot. They have the luck. They have the luck to have a ground that's not frozen. They don't have to pay like 12,000 US to get a pad laid down.
Yeah, it's way cheaper from what I saw. I think Mike, the guy in Florida, he just sent me a photo, I think, and it's like there's no rods,
Yeah.
there's no foam underneath it, there's no gravel. Man, we put
Oh,
like
Joseph, man.
And Joseph, man.
Oh, 8.
there's like
nine.
9. We put what, 9 inches of concrete in the backyard.
Uh,
Yeah, 9 inches. What I
inches.
saw Terry in them is like 5,
Yeah.
4 or 5
No
inches.
winter, man.
No winter, man. Oh, man,
No,
winter. Hey, man.
perfect.
Yeah, it is. So which one was the best one? Like,
Um,
were they equally good, or like some were better? Because from riding your spot and my spot, it's
Yeah,
hard to get
all is
concrete
different.
extremely leveled, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Fun is.
shout out to Todd for the best surface.
Oh yeah, Todd's spot with all the
No.
banners, man.
No, the best surface, man.
Yeah, not slippery. Go fast and.
Oh yeah. What did he do? Do you know?
it's,
It's one guy that did the local skate park, came to his house, and I don't know if he just flattened the surface, but did an awesome job.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's.
No bump, not
Super.
slippery,
No.
not the biggest spot,
No, maybe
but
a little bit
the
small.
spot with the good
But flat,
success.
flat,
flat, and-
flat system. You know,
Yeah,
that's
good
how it
job,
works.
Good job, Dad.
Yo, so you guys did 5 months on the road in the van, right? Like,
Yeah.
which you just bought last year, or the
Yeah.
year, yeah, or the end of 2019, right?
2019, I bought this van. The SUV I had got hit. They call the car failure.
Oh, your old car, you got an accident, or someone hit it, right?
Yeah, someone
Oh.
hit it, and then I was starting to rent van for the BMX shows to put stuff inside, and then I needed to buy a new car, so I was like, okay,
Yeah, it adds up after a while.
Let's-
It eats at your profit every time if you're renting a
let's
car.
get a van, let's put it at
So, So you guys like sleeping both in the van, right?
Yeah.
Same bed.
The same bed. Whoa, same bed.
I took GF often.
So, but what are like the pros and cons of the van life? Like obviously some and some are not, right?
Yeah. To me, I have one sentence that resume living in a van life is you sacrifice a little bit of comfort for a lot of freedom, and this is something I am personally super comfortable with. In the middle of the trip, I decided I was not going to go back to my house anymore and that I was going to live in my truck full time. I've been back 3 months now, and it's as awesome as it was when I was with Steve.
As long as you follow the summer, right?
Yeah.
Mostly. So, but what are the pros and cons of doing it with someone else, though? Because after a while, you're in the same car, so you need a bit of space once in a while, no?
Steve.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's sure I prefer my house and I'm more comfortable. It's perfect, but when GF said if you want more your liberty, and if you you can go everywhere, and we can go sleep everywhere.
Yeah, that's cool. You like open the door and basically you just choose your view to go to bed too.
And I like USA because you have a lot of BLM and you can sleep free and you have a beautiful view. Just
what is BLM?
BLM, it's
because
like,
that's what people know as Black Lives Matter. So that's different.
It's the Bureau of Land Management.
Oh, okay.
So it's a place where you can go while camping. You take care of the land. You leave it as is.
Like sit back here, basically, right?
But you don't have to pay for it, and it's freedomly owned.
Nice.
And and there's a lot of spots.
So
like that.
okay. Which one was like best one? Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So the pros and cons to me were the same as when you're traveling with someone, or when you're traveling alone. You have to share what do you want to do, food and stuff like that. But living in a van with 2 riders was the same as traveling and not living in a van with 2 riders. There was nothing that was a con because it was in the van.
Except, for example, I guess taking a shower or whatnot, you have to find a place to take a shower? Or?
Yeah, but you're 2, you can...
Because like in the bandwagon trip, we do just sometimes... Well, we stayed in hotels, so it was different. Or if we like camping, we just... that's about it, right?
That's it.
That's it.
That's been the con unless you have it in the van.
And shout out to everyone who let us charge our stuff, take shower, cook food.
Thanks
we
a
love
lot,
you guys.
everybody, man.
This trip
so
would not
awesome.
have been possible with the hospitality of everyone in the US.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I trust that.
everyone.
What was the best camping spot that you
Steve,
stayed at one
best
night?
camping spot.
I'm sure there's like 100, but there's gotta be one that's like
Yeah.
out.
If you steal my number 1, it's okay, I have another one after.
Yeah, sure.
So what's your number 1?
Oh, Lac Havasu, and after I don't know.
What's the name?
lot.
What's the name?
Lake Havasu.
Where's that?
The lake is like turquoise. It's super beautiful view.
Like out in the mountains?
And you have a lot of space for fire, and you have a lot of space for a van.
I have to look that up. Lake Havasu.
Lake Havasu.
What state is that in?
It's
It's,
Arizona.
Yeah, between
It's-
California
yeah.
and Vegas and
Close,
Arizona, in the middle there. It's water from the Powell Lake.
Yeah.
Like glacial water from the mountains?
Or
Like Lake Louise here in Canada?
Not glacial
Not quite
water,
the
just
same.
like clean
clean
water.
and super. The feeling is like relax, just relax.
Because you hear a lot about like big cities and pollution and problems on the news. It's always the fucking end of the world, right? And then you get out on the road and shit, it's not that bad, right?
No, it isn't. It isn't. To me, my favorite spot was in Arizona. This place called Sedona.
It's true.
For camping?
So, man, just the morning view, you don't get tired of it. You know when you can spend all day on a camping chair? That's the spot.
It's not about riding at that point. That's
It's
just
not
like
anymore.
letting go and just being able to enjoy, right?
Yeah, and enjoy the nothingness of a moment and the stillness. We're always like, I feel like human being these days, we're always like, action, now, do something. Bro, when are you fucking relaxing, man?
Yeah, and it's true. When you talk about climate change and all those things, like they always say, do something about the climate change, do something about what you're like. How about do nothing about it and just not do nothing about it, just do nothing for a bit, you know?
Yeah.
If everybody calm down. But I don't want to give them incentive to bring on like climate change lockdowns, you know? Like, do nothing, stay at home. Stay at home, you're a bad human for the environment. No, hope not. You guys didn't go to like Burning Man or like spend time in the desert and stuff like that?
Yeah, we did. We spent time in the desert in California. We spent time in the desert in Arizona too. Being at night, having the door of the van open, and hearing coyotes all night yelling, and hearing some stuff happening next to the van.
Yeah.
Like Steve was like, I think there's one hunting down.
It's a
Like what? Like there's
They're
a...
fighting or whatever.
Oh, did you guys ever feel like at risk or being threatened by
A little
anything?
bit,
By
but-
nature or by people?
The only time I
No.
felt threatened was when I had to come back to Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I knew what was happening here, and I knew that my freedom was not going to be the same. I knew about this 2 weeks of quarantine, and honestly, I didn't want to fucking go back home, man.
No, like,
this shit sucks,
It
man.
is, man. What, like, how, just that vibe of like, man, going back home and feeling like that? That's insanity.
Yeah. It sucks, man.
Yeah. For
But-
these days, Do you remember?
But
14 days.
But
Yeah, because,
so-
right, what happened? You came back, you did a test, your test was negative.
Yeah. Another test.
Another test, negative.
Two.
And then what?
Another 3 tests.
3 tests?
Yeah.
Negative, and then what?
After 14 days, another test, and 14 days you stay at home.
I think it's because we
must.
didn't party enough at the spring break in Miami.
Oh, which
Yeah.
was like one of the last stops, right?
Oh,
Actually.
yeah,
yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The
man.
party on the beach,
Full moon
the
party
full
on
moon
the
party.
beach.
Okay. On the fun. Yeah, in Miami, how was that? That was cool. How was Florida? That was like the last stop, so you're already like, oh man, we're heading home, and now we're in Florida. God damn it.
Yeah,
The cherry
but
on the
we
cake.
were like, okay, man, we did all this road, like, let's finish this shit on the beach.
Mhm.
So we check the spot and we sleep on Miami, a little up north. We sleep next to the library. There's a beach, there's a shower, there's
Man.
other van park there. We were at the
Perfect place.
same spot for 2 weeks. We
Nice.
found cheap food, good grocery, riding spot.
The police, tick tick tick.
On the
I
van?
don't sleep here. You can sleep here with the door open because it's so hot. And me, oh no, oh sorry,
because
sorry.
you can't see.
Sleep there if you stay the door open.
If they can see you sleeping, then you can't sleep there. Is that it?
No, you can't.
Technically, some place this is the law. If they see you sleeping and you cannot. But this time, the only time that happened, because we cracked the door because it was
Yeah.
getting a little hot.
Like steamy and-
So the guys say, sorry, the police did say you cannot sleep here, and they say it's a little bit dangerous here because of the homeless, which was not the homeless I'm kind of used to. It was fucking safe. And Steve told the policeman,
Thanks.
okay, thank you very much. He closed the door and he sleep again for another 2 hours.
Yeah, man.
And the next night, we come back to the same spot for 5 other nights in a row, and nothing
the
happened.
liberty, man. You were saying.
So like you never really felt threatened, or you never
Never,
really
never.
felt that risk, or you never even
No,
felt that risk
never.
of catching
Never.
whatever, right?
No,
I think
never.
I think that's one of the main reasons I wanted to do this podcast, because I wanted people to realize that, like, you know, they hear that the U.S. is this and that and it's the end of the world and the
Don't
capital this
understand.
and that. And it's
Yeah.
like you guys just this 5 months in the worst time of the year, which was well portrayed by the drawing by in Colorado.
Oh, Jason Rideout.
Yeah, Jason Rideout. Like with the bombs falling, yeah, that thing is sick. And it's like, but I think, yeah, I think that was one of the conclusions that I didn't want to steer towards to, but that I had a feeling that you guys would tell me is that, like, man, shit is alright.
Yeah.
If the news could just shut the fuck up for a second,
life
man.
is fucking beautiful,
Yeah.
and we gotta share this beautiful life and share the positivity. I had people here in Quebec before I leave telling me there was gonna be a civil war in the States. Don't believe the fucking hype,
If
man.
you live in the fear, you don't live.
Yeah, I mean, I was victim to it too, man. We were in Florida right at the beginning. We were at Tyler's house. We were going for AFA round one
Yeah.
of 2020.
Yeah.
And I hesitated before even going because it was like the night that the Prime Minister made his speech and that this whole sanitary this and that was gonna happen, and I was like, shit, man, I don't know if I want to leave. I don't know what's gonna happen. And then we got there, and people were emptying supermarkets, and we went to shoot some guns, and a lot of people were buying ammo and stuff, and you're like, God damn, you know, like it's getting like worrisome. Like shit, what's gonna happen, you know? And it's not the best place to be in either. If you wonder, if you think in the mind state of what you're being conditioned to think. Like, this place is full of evil people with guns, watch out. Like, that's just the main feeling I get sometimes that they're trying to convey to me. And it's like, every time I've been to the States, it's been a good time.
Yeah.
Just obviously don't go hang out where I guess homeless people are suffering. But that's also a problem, we can't forget that. But, man, I think that's important.
But think about, like, all this bad image we Canadian had about the States. And think about how you spent the last year here in Canada, and if you could have spent this year back in the U.S.
Or in Florida or Texas, right?
Or
Yeah.
in California.
Man, I had this conversation with many of my friends where it's like, yo, how about we move to Florida, man, or Texas or whatnot, because this shit's kind of getting old, man, because that was a long time.
But now
That
it's
was a
like,
long time.
now it's over, and I'm happy, and it's time to drive toward, like, friendship, building bond, and building a stronger flatland community.
Definitely, man, and we have this to do. We have to do it. Me and you and Steve and everybody else out here, at least in Montreal. Y'all know you're welcome. You're welcome in Montreal anytime when you can come. Because for now, it's still complicated with what they do to us. You know. So.
I got a spare bed in the van for one guy. There's floor space, and I have a shower now.
So since you guys
I have more. I have a spot in my basement. I have a room for everybody, and I have a house.
and a
Let's
pool,
go hang
and
out.
a pool, and a
And a
cabana.
pool, bro.
Do you feel the blues since you came back from a long trip like that? The blues. You got the blues, man.
Do you miss?
Do you miss the vibe, the
Oh.
atmosphere of being on the road, or actually you're good with
I
how
think
things
it's the what we do today. It's the session with everybody, like Ruben with the spot at the Seine, with the Texas when we go there, or California, same thing. It's all the day when we ride with a lot of people. I miss this too often.
And experiencing
Not
the
a
different
lot.
riding styles. All the
Yeah,
time.
different riding, but I like when we ride. I don't like the contest, but I like the jam just for fun, like everybody. Like Huntington Beach, maybe I go there for a jam.
Because
like that.
there's a you start vibrating at a different frequency when you're on the road for a long
Oh,
time
yeah.
and tripping and not competing. That's different because competing
Yes.
is one thing. This is
Completely
like
different.
I'm going out there. I'm doing flatland. I'm doing me. I'm being me.
You go
I'm,
there
I'm
for
enjoying being
friends.
myself and not
Yeah.
having
Oh,
to
yeah.
judge being
and
judged.
next time
and
I
being
go
others,
there
right?
for see my friend over there, and it's like it's
And
awesome.
and then
man.
coming back though, there's a bit of that. Oh my god! Okay,
Yeah,
so I
I wanna go
gotta
back.
resettle my roots again. I guess a little bit. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's to me, I miss the trip when I listen to my country music playlist, which I start listening, and I miss driving and having this beautiful scenery in front of me and thinking I'm gonna sleep in that new place and I'm gonna ride in that new spot with these new friends. Now I'm back home, I'm living in the van, I'm still traveling, I'm still camping.
Yeah, man, that's just...
So it's awesome. And I'm announcement out here, the tour is gonna be back next winter with more jam, with more gathering, and this is why maybe I'm not in that reminiscence or missing. I know there's new adventure coming,
Nice.
but it was a great time.
Awesome. I mean, yo, I think we wrapped it up. That was sick, the pandemic tour. Like, any last shout outs or recommendations to people? Maybe a recommendation about the van life, or final shout outs or to people, and if there's gonna be a video or something.
For beginning, ride Flatland. After, you can do a van life, and to go to USA for a trip is the best, I think, for me, because if I compare with Canada, it's sure you go there, you go down. Maybe in the summer it's good too, but I think I prefer US.
Winter in the US.
Yeah, winter in the US, but the summer maybe it's good too to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
That's nice. We're gonna have a jam just now, actually. Any last words, Jim?
Yeah, first of all, shout out to the Reclamation Bike. They've been a big supporter of the tour. They help us out. They're a big supporter of Flatland, so if ever you're interested in whatever these guys are making, don't hesitate. They are giving a lot back to Flatland. Shout out to everyone that helped us anyway. You guys have been amazing, and
Impossible without them.
impossible without them.
Exactly.
And one other thing, like, do what you love, Flatland or not. Treat your friends and family the way you would love to be treated. Be nice with Mother Earth, and be aware of things that you're consuming that are not any use to growing or to your pleasure. And this earth is our playground.
Totally.
Love it, cherish it.
Yo, man.
And big thanks to
Thanks,
IGI.
guys. We're gonna go ride right now. The jam is on. WR Volume 2 coming up.
Flat
Thanks
System.
for tuning in to Flat System. You guys
Thanks
have a
a
good one.
lot, everybody.